Hi again, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. New episodes airing on YouTube starting every Friday and airing on the radio on 103.9 FM LI News Radio every Saturday morning at 8:30. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined as always by Vinny Tickets. Happy holidays, and how was the gift? First of all, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was great. How was yours?
Absolute blast, and then spent the day after Thanksgiving freezing watching the Jets in person last week, but that's a whole nother story. But
Peter, I gotta tell you, you're like the happiest guy. You really celebrate life, and you really, I've never heard you say, oh, it was miserable. Everything is great.
The Jet game itself was miserable, but I had great seats. My family and I had a great day thanks to Winners Brothers, and we had great seats in the Coaches Club. But that was a tremendous experience. But the game stunk, of course, because then the Jets got their butts kicked. But it is the holiday season, and how's your gift list going? Have you finished your holiday shopping?
Everybody gets tickets.
Everyone gets tickets. Well, there you go. But a lot of sports fans like sports merchandise and sports memorabilia.
Love it.
On their Christmas list. And to help us with your sports fans holiday gift list is a good friend of mine. We go back a long ways. He founded Steiner Sports many years ago, and now he is the founder and CEO of Collectible Exchange. He is Brandon Steiner. Brandon, it's Peter and Vinny. Happy holidays, and thanks for joining us on the show today.
Well, it's a pleasure. Nice to hear from you guys again. And yes, it is so weird when you say that. Like, it's hard to imagine Steiner is not with Steiner. But the Collectible Exchange, even since the last time we talked, has grown dramatically. I think what we're doing for fans and customers out there is second to none. We're having a lot of fun, and I appreciate the support, especially in the New York area, because, the New Yorkers are tough. They expect a lot, and I feel like I've always tried to deliver and always want to get fans closer to the game, and they've really shown up for me, which I'm very grateful.
And Brandon and everybody at Collectibles Exchange has come through for our viewers and our listeners this week, and we're gonna do it on the back end of the show, but we're gonna be giving away a Mark Messier Rangers signed puck, and we're going to do that after the break a little bit later when we give away our tickets as well. And we'll have some Jets tickets to give away on the show later on. But Brandon, it is the holiday season, and if you're a sports fan, and you always did this wonderfully with Steiner Sports, and we've talked about this on other platforms before, about how you've always believed that there should be memorabilia for people with different budgets, because not everybody can afford a $500 piece of memorabilia. Not everybody can go all out for those things. And you've always, whether it was at Steiner Sports Online or at the store at Roosevelt Field, and now you have it with a Collectibles Exchange, you always make sure that there are things available for fans who have all different kinds of budgets. So for this year, sports fans, if they're looking for things online, give us some examples of different price ranges on great gift ideas that you have for sports fans.
Well, thank you. And I feel like there's always a part of this time of year where there should be a charity component, which I try to do now with everything I work on with all the players. But what's crazy is, and I know you guys, Vinny, I know you guys will agree with this, New York sports stuff, it's terrible. It's no help. It's like at some point these teams need to play better.
Oh, the Knicks are doing okay, and the Rangers have the best record in the NHL at the time that we're recording the show. So
the expectation level on the Rangers is so high. Like I'm banking on one thing: the 30-year reunion of the '94 team, which will do something in June with Messier, Leach, Graves. And don't get me wrong, I like this team, but we've been heartbroken. And there's a lot of good teams in the NHL, and the expectations are so high. It's the same thing with the Yankees. Like, I still love this Yankee team, but people act like, this team is horrible. Like, they're still better than, 25 other teams. But what's interesting is to answer your question on some of the gifting things, because it's hard to find gifts that are really cool under $100. So we always focus on coming up with really cool items. Part of our new collectible exchange is starstock.com. It's a new trading card website. It's a marketplace. It's got over 1.5 million trading cards. And trading cards, Peter, are really hot. Mm-hmm. So you can go pick up all kinds of cards from as little as $1, $5, $100, $200. And, a lot of kids and a lot of people are really into these cards. So I really urge you to go look on our website and see what you want. So that's kind of cool. What's cool about StarStock, too, is we can put your cards in a vault. So if you're out there and your wife's killing you because your cards are all over the place.
We get that in our house.
Not that a wife would ever do that, but my wife perpetually did it to the point where that's why I started this company, because I had to get everything out of my house. It's killing me because the cards and the collectibles were everywhere. But there's some great cards and gifts there. And, and with the stores, with the Thanksgiving special we're doing now, I think everything's like 25 or 30% off on our site for another few days. There's a tremendous amount of gifts that are under $100, even from, you're giving away a Mark Messier signed puck. There's a whole bunch of Rangers stuff on there. There's a bunch of Mariano stuff on there, Paul O'Neill, some of the Yankee greats. If you're young, you like, Don Mattingly, DJ Omeyu, got a bunch of stuff on there. And also, like, my favorite new Yankee, by the way, that I work with is Oswaldo Cabrera. Love that guy.
Mm-hmm. Plays with a lot of fire. Love him.
And he plays with a lot of passion for the fans. He's just a fan. He loves the fans, and the fans love him. So we've had a lot of fun with him over the last season, and hopefully he finds his niche this year as well.
Okay. Hey, Brandon, Vinny here. So when you talk about the collectible exchange, just quick question. Can a fan, since it is an exchange, can an individual go and list their memorabilia on that site as well, or is it just inventory that you have?
It was, Vinny, I knew there's something I liked about you. And that's exactly right. Thank you for bringing that up. It's true. I mean, you can go put up stuff on the site. It's the same way you can on eBay, except our site is a lot more locked in and focused on making sure there's no bad stuff, unauthenticated stuff on there. So if you have authenticated stuff, you can go on there and put stuff up. You dictate the price. You can make an offer, any of that stuff. The question is, if you have stuff and it's not authenticated because somebody gave it to you as a gift or you knew a player, then you can send that to us and we help you get it authenticated, and we give you the value prop and tell you what you should be paying. What's different about our site also is let's say you have somebody you really want to buy a gift for, you're not sure how much money you should be spending and what you should buy, we'll tell you, because we have 150,000 items on the site. It's a big site now. It's growing like weeds. But you may be confused. How much do you pay for a Don Mattingly bat? Mm-hmm. How much did you pay for a Henrik Lundqvist puck? And you can call our company. We have a couple of VIP reps right there. We'll give you some guidance of the difference between a game used jersey that may sell for $5,000 or just an autographed jersey that sells for $500. To me, I've always been about educating the fans and trying to help, and then figuring that hopefully that some of them will come my way if I offer those kind of extra services to just make sure they're on track and what they're buying and doing.
Well, that's great. So Brandon, tell our listeners, when someone's out looking for memorabilia, what are the authentication services that our listeners should be looking for on your site when it comes to authentication? What are like the big names for authentication to say, hey, if this company made this an authentic item, then you're in good shape. So for our listeners, because I'm sure that this industry is difficult to navigate. So share that with us if you would.
It's a good question. Thanks for asking. I think that it's gotten a lot better, which is I'd like to think I had something to do with it. As far as people know where they get the real stuff, there's always, I think I'm a trusted name. Upper Deck has been a great name. Panini has been a great name. There's a company called TriStar has been a good name. You have Fanatics out there. That's a good name. Those are some of the ones. And then independently, an independent authenticator is extremely well known at this part of the country is JSA. Yeah. When you see a JSA cert, then usually it's real. And then MLB Authentication, which is an authentication company that MLB started, which I like to think that was a big part of developing that when we got started back in the early 2000s. If you have MLB Authenticated, they have a whole independent authentication service they provide all the teams. So if something's from MLB with that authentication service, it's also a good chance that you're on the right track. Those are some of the better ones. We have like a list when you go on a collectible exchange of all the ones that are considered approved vendors for authentication. And remember, JSA is probably one of the bigger ones because they do all this independent stuff that people may have collected over the years, and then you don't know what to do with it. And what we do is we have a JSA representative come over to our company about once a month. They'll actually be coming next week to go over stuff that all different people around have sent us in to get authenticated. And that's like the service you provide. Like if you had something, you could always put it on eBay, but if it's not authenticated, But for us, we'll help you get authenticated and we'll also tell you what it's worth. So we'll try to help you package it up.
Brandon, last thing from me, a number of years ago, you used to do that show on Yes Network, What's It Worth? And I was supposed to come on the show one time with this pennant that people are going to see on YouTube. I texted you a picture of it. I was supposed to bring the pennant on the show. My grandfather gave it to me when I was a kid, and I texted you a picture of it this week. So for the liberty of everybody, I think it's from the 20s or the 30s. I have no idea, but I have never found out what it's worth. So I'm going to depend on you and your staff to try and help me figure out how much this is worth. The pen. I'm never going to sell it. I'm giving it to my kids. But have you seen the picture that I sent you? And what do you think of that pennant that I got?
I like that pennant. I'm a big pennant guy. I love more oddball stuff. I just sold my Syracuse pennant. It was from the early 1900s. It was painful, but I know where to put it. And it was sold for about $1,200. I think your pennant's about a few $100, by the way. If it's framed correctly, maybe a little more, but I think it's about a $300 pennant right now. And a lot of it with those kinds of niche products, it's about finding the right customer that was going to love that team and that era from when you have the pennant from. You see a lot of old college pennants that are circulating now because kids always put that in their rooms now. 70 years old, and they're holding on to those pennants. But I love that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
It's worth holding on to, but I think it'll only go up in value.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to get it nicely framed one of these days. Brandon Steiner from Collectibles Exchange.
I'm happy to help you frame that.
You know what? I'm going to call you about that. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy holidays.
Thanks, Brandon.
And we'll have you on again real soon.
All right, Vinny. Have a happy holiday. Thanks, Peter. Love you guys. Take care.
Thanks. Brandon Steiner, Collectibles Exchange, back with more, including our giveaways. Coming up, Sports Bash is back after this. Welcome back to Sports Bash here on YouTube and 103.9 FM LI News Radio. We're presented by Ticketbash.com. Peter Schwartz, always joined by Vinny Tickets. We thank Brandon Steiner once again for coming on the show from Collectibles Exchange. So you want to check out that website for your holiday gift ideas. And before we get to our giveaways, and Brandon was nice enough to give us a special gift to give away to somebody on the show, I did tease this on social media this week, a tasty surprise for the staff. So there is a store in New Hyde Park called Bob Howard's General Store. I used to live in New Hyde Park, and I used to go to the store all the time. A few months ago, they started carrying the brand new Reggie bars. Remember the Reggie bars?
Of course. They threw them on the field.
Right, they threw them on the field. So I reached out. They're having a contest. If you go into their store, they're on Lakeville Road, 581 Lakeville Road in New Hyde Park. If you go into their store and you buy 6 bars, you get 1 ticket. 12 bars, you get 2 tickets. And for every 6, you get an extra ticket for a giveaway for a Reggie Bar t-shirt. So you want to check that out. So they were nice enough to send along some Reggie bars for the staff. Don't worry, Vinny, Whiz Kid Vinny, and Frank, we have one for you too. But these were great. I used to love these when I was a kid, and I remember playing Little League. We had a kid on our team, Richie. So we took some Reggie bars and we taped over the Reggie and put Richie on there. When he got a big hit in the Little League game, we would throw it. But these are fantastic. They just came back, and it's like reliving my youth again. Yeah,
they actually did a Reggie bar giveaway at the stadium, and didn't they? If I remember correctly,
he hit a home run and everybody threw him on the field.
The Reggie bars on the field.
So so this is a great thing. They're available at Bob Howard's General Store, 581 Lakeville Road, New Hyde Park. And again, they're giving away a Reggie Bar t-shirt. So if you go in, for every 6 Reggie bars you get 1 ticket in the drawing. So you want to, they're on Instagram, so check them out on Instagram. So great people over there. So I'm going to look forward to having this a little bit later on today. So let's get to our giveaways. First up, our ticket giveaway.
Yes, today's ticket giveaway, we will be giving away New York Jets tickets versus the Texans. That's on December 10th. We'll be giving away 2 tickets. All you have to do to enter the contest is text the word Sports Bash, the word tickets, and your name, Sports Bash, tickets, and your name to 631-250-6888. That's 631-250-6888. And when you send that text, the word Sports Bash, tickets, and your name, you'll automatically be entered into the contest.
And our other giveaway is courtesy of Brandon Steiner and the great people at Collectible Exchange. We have a Mark Messier autographed Rangers puck.
That was very nice.
That was
great.
tremendous. And we're going to be getting that, and whoever wins, we will send that puck out to you. And if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have a picture of it up on our YouTube version of the show. But you text your name, Sports Bash, and Rangers to 631-250-6888. So it's the same text number for the tickets. Instead of putting tickets, you put Rangers, and you'll be in the drawing for the Rangers Mark Messier autographed puck. And, I've talked about it all the time on the show, how big of an Islanders fan I am, and I hated watching the Rangers win the Cup in 94. But Mark Messier, to me, when you think about the great leaders in all of sports history, especially here in New York, I mean, he came and fulfilled his guarantee and brought the Rangers a Stanley Cup in 1994. So that is a piece of Rangers memorabilia that I know a lot of Ranger fans are going to want to go for this week.
We actually had a friend of ours that it was like the late 70s, early 80s, and he wasn't married. He was dating a girl forever. And she said, well, when are we going to get married? She said, when the Rangers win the Stanley Cup. And sure enough, when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup, 2 months later, they had a big backyard wedding, old Ranger theme, and I
wanted to vomit. I did watch it, and I have people say, "How did you sit there and watch it on TV?" I'm like, "It was history. I had to sit there and watch it. I wasn't happy watching it, but I had to sit there and watch it. So it is what it is.
30-year anniversary.
Yeah, I won't be there for that.
Maybe it's a sign.
Good luck to Brandon Steiner and everybody with that. I won't be a part of that. It is time for another great edition of Whiz Kid Vinny here on Sports Bash. And we had Brandon Steiner from Collectibles Exchange on the show earlier. So we're in that sports memorabilia kind of mood. And he did mention, we were going to ask him about it, he did mention on the show that he recently purchased the company starstock.com, which is a major trading card marketplace with 1.3 million cards available. And when you think about it, we bring in Whiz Kid Vinny with his new weekly segment here on the show. First of all, happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
And we didn't forget about you. We have a Reggie bar for you too. So this is from Bob Howard's General Store in New Hyde Park. So don't eat it all in one shot.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
There you go.
Now I don't have to buy any online. That
you got a snack for the drive home. But in any event, so we talked with Brandon about sports memorabilia, and I'm a huge sports memorabilia person. I'm a huge baseball card and sports card collector. And when you think about cards, you think about Topps. I mean, it's the number one name in sports cards for me. And that brings us to our segment. And you have a little story about the man who created Topps baseball cards.
Well, he didn't create it, but he was essentially the modern day person to make it what it is. The man's name was Sy Berger. And he was someone who, even when he was little, like in the 20s, he would grow up collecting baseball cards. Like that was his whole life. Baseball cards, baseball cards, baseball cards. And it just so happened that in 1947, he took a job at Topps the same exact day, actually, that they introduced Bazooka bubblegum. Actually, yeah, the exact same day that Bazooka started, he started working for Topps. And then in 1951, he was with the owner of Topps at that time, and he told him, hey, I want you to make what the 1952 line is going to look like. So he did a picture of a player, as well as their name, the team they play for, their position, and as well as a signature. And on the back of the card, it showed their biography, it showed the stats, weight, date of birth, etc.
And the great thing about like the backs of baseball cards, like if you watch a Yankee game on Yes, and Michael Kay talks about, or he talks on his show, or any sports talk radio host will say, this is what this guy should do for your team because that's what's on the back of his baseball card. So if the back of his baseball card says he's going to hit 300 with 30 home runs and 110 RBIs, that's what you're expecting. You're expecting the back of his baseball card.
Right. That's exactly what he did. And that 52 line sold very, very well. In fact, did so well that he had so many different copies that he didn't know what to do with. So he just got a bunch of garbage trucks to throw them in the Atlantic Ocean. True story. But because of its success, he became not only involved to the point where he was the head of marketing and sales and everything. He was the face of Topps for many decades. And he was there for over 5 decades and was very active up until his mid 80s. And then unfortunately he passed away in 2014. But still to this very day, Topps is defined by what Berger did. I think he is someone who warrants consideration for Cooperstown because I know that people talk about wins and losses, but in terms of the culture of baseball,
there is a section, and I don't know if you've been to the Baseball Hall of Fame before. I'm sure you have, but there's a whole section of baseball cards at the Hall of Fame that is just ridiculous, and that in of itself is a shrine for Sy Berger.
Oh yeah, but the man himself is more than just that. Like the man, I think, should be remembered. He's in the National Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. I think he's in some New York Hall of Fames. I know he was honored by the Hall in '85, but you could honor all you want, but until you get someone inducted, it's not going to feel like the full treatment. And I know it's a bit of a longer shot, but Berger's someone I deeply admire and respect for what he did for the culture of baseball cards and just baseball as a whole. Usually when I think of trading cards to this day, it's still inspired from what Sy Berger did those many decades ago, and I don't think collecting would be even close to what it was if not for what he did. And for that, Sy Berger and to his family, we thank you very much.
All right, Vinny, thanks. We'll catch you again next week on the show. We want to thank our guest on the program, Brandon Steiner, and from Collectibles Exchange. He gave us the Mark Messier puck to give away. And before we say goodbye, Vinny Tickets is back with us. Some big shows coming. Sebastian Maniscalco is coming up in September of 24 at MSG. Those tickets are going to go on sale. And we have the potential return of Aaron Rodgers. He keeps talking about if the Jets stay in it, December 24th, there's got to be a huge interest in tickets.
Christmas Eve. Yep.
Christmas Eve.
Be a nice Christmas Eve
Will
present.
we see Aaron Rodgers? We don't know, but that will do it for this edition of Sports Bash here on LI News Radio and YouTube, presented by TicketBash.com. For Vinny Tickets, I'm Peter Schwartz, reminding you, new episodes of Sports Bash every Friday on YouTube and every Saturday morning at 8:30 on LI News Radio. Have a great weekend, everyone.